The next stitch we're going to do is called Parisian, and we're going to do it in a long oblong shape, and it's going to finish halfway across the rise stitch. So your waist knot doesn't want to be too far across, it needs to be about just before you get to halfway. Around each block we're going to leave a whole sort of a whole hole, so one hole, so that the Parisian stitch will finish in this row here and not right up to the end of the rise stitch. We're going to do a bit of shading with this stitch, and I've got two darker crewel wool strands in my needle and three sort of medium browns, and we're going to sort of shade from dark to light. Now you want to start exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes down from the end of the rise stitch here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then take a stitch going across 2 threads upwards. This is a horizontal or a vertical straight stitch, sort of a medium coverage. Then the next one will go one down from where the previous one started and over 4 threads. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then over 2. And then 4. So one down, and you finish one up from where you finish with your shorter stitch. So you can see, you should be able to see now that there'll only be 1 hole's distance between these blocks. So just there, the stitch finishes here. And now I'm going to cut off my knot. Continue a little bit. Okay, so we'll finish there. I'm going to show you the second row, but we will eventually come in and fill in those bits at the top. But I'll just show you how it works. So you want to go 4 down, and then you do the opposite. So the 1 over 4 threads goes up to the 1 over 2, and then you do 1 over 2 threads to go up to the 1 over 4. So they're sort of like, it's like a jigsaw puzzle fitting together. And we're going to carry on doing the same thing down the shape. But before we do that, I just want to show you that when you've got this jagged edge here, you just need to fill in at the top because you want it to be straight. So we're going into those holes above the 2 thread ones and just do a stitch over one thread to fill it in. Okay, now we'll get back to the pattern and keep watching because I'm going to change colour soon. I'm doing a couple more stitches on this row. I'm now going to change colour. So let's just put that there. So now in the needle, I've got the darker crewel wool, and I've got the paler crewel wool and the same brown. So I've just changed one of the threads to shade, do a little bit of shading here. And it's just very subtle. I purposely haven't changed at the end of a row because I don't want it to be that sort of obvious. I'm going to change colour again here, again not quite at the end of a row, and I'll finish this thread and I'll show you what's next. So now I've got the two paler greens and still the same brown, so it's gradually getting lighter as we go further down the shape. So again I'll do a few rows of this and then we're going to change again. I've now changed colour again and I've kept my two greens, but I've exchanged two of the brown strands for two pale yellows. We'll see how that works out. By the way, you don't have to change colour, change shade where I am. You can do it anywhere you fancy really. I like to change somewhere in mid-row rather than at the end of a row, but you could do end of rows if you prefer. So I'm not sure whether we'll have space to change again, but let's just see. I'm going to do a couple of rows anyway. And can you see again how the thread twists? And you just need to keep an eye on that. It just changes how the stitch looks. I think this is going to be the last full row. But just like we did on the first row, I'm just going to fill in these little gaps. So where you've got a stitch going over 2 threads, just put a little stitch going over 1 to level it up. And again with this thread, you finish it off on the back. So I'm going to thread that up and finish it off later.